how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hello! So today's video is another
Yass or Boss.
I will never get tired of doing that intro. Hi! So welcome to Yass or Pass, where I talk about new makeup I'm going to buy, have already bought, or I basically just talk about new makeup. I really just go through trend mood and give my opinions on new releases. That's kind of my whole thing. So if you're interested in watching this video, keep watching. We have a lot to talk about today, so I think we should really just jump right in. The very first thing is obviously the launch of Rare Beauty. So I actually already bought everything. I was really hesitant when I heard about this launch. I was like, Selena Gomez, like I'm not really fully sold on her doing a makeup line, just because celebrity makeup lines, sometimes they're really great. Like you have Fenty Beauty, even like Florence by Mills, I would consider a pretty solid brand. But then sometimes you have some of those brands that are just like, what are you doing? Like, what's going on with celebrities and influencers in general, like all across the board. So sometimes you have those types of brands. So when I heard about the Selena Gomez one, I was a little bit hesitant because I was kind of like, okay, I don't really know what this is gonna be. But since hearing about it and seeing what she was actually putting out, I was really excited. So I bought a bunch of the stuff from the launch. I actually have a video up on it. I just posted it, and just based on the comments already, I can tell that I got some things wrong. So I wanted to take the time in this video to talk about that. So the actual packaging, I guess, was designed specifically in mind for people who maybe have some mobility issues or issues opening things, like people with arthritis or people with shaky hands. So the little spheres on the top are supposed to be able to help people open things really easily. Selena does have lupus, so I guess she has said that it's really important to her for things to be easy to open. Things are more pigmented, so they're easier for her to apply without having to stress yourself out. So now seeing the strides that she is taking to make her brand more inclusive, it's similar to how I feel about Fenty when they started making foundation ranges more inclusive. I really hope other brands follow suit and take note. That's such a big thing to people who have that issue, to be able to use the makeup even if they are having flare-ups or bad days, and I think that's wonderful. So I'm all about Rare Beauty right now. I had my review of the products and I liked some of them a lot. I really loved the concealer, I really loved the highlighter. There were others I wasn't super crazy about, but I will say I thoroughly enjoyed most of the stuff, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised with this launch. I think that celebrities who have paired up with Sephora's brand Kendo have actually been exceeding my expectations when it comes to celebrity lines. I think most of them do very well, which I think is kind of cool. So props to Rare Beauty. Okay, next. Speaking of Kendo Vegan Beauty with Kindness Beauty, Kindness Vegan, Kindness Beauty with Charity. I don't know what their name is, but KVD Beauty revealed their holiday 2020 palette. I literally forgot how much I despise being in the beginning of September and already getting bombarded with holiday releases. I forgot how much I hated this. I know I've ranted about this before, but like, where are the pumpkin palettes? I know Too Faced did one. I don't want Too Faced. I don't want their freaking pumpkin palette. I could care less about their pumpkin palette. Like, I don't care. I want a pumpkin palette from like ColourPop. Like, I want like an orange lip paint from Fenty that's like perfect, like universal or burnt orange shades in their stunner lipstick formula. I want fall to be recognized by these brands, and I'm so sick of everyone just jumping straight to Christmas, okay? I can't even think about Christmas right now because my mind is still in Ugg boot weather, okay? KVD put out this palette. I hate it. Just being totally honest, like, I really hate it. I had a lot of hope for them when Kat left because they were starting to put out stuff that actually seemed kind of interesting, like the rose blushes. I was like, okay, like these are really pretty, really aesthetically cute, whatever. And now I see this and I'm just not excited by this at all. Like, I understand there seems to be some cool shimmers in it, and I do actually kind of like how they did the matte to shimmers. I do wish that that blue shimmer shade that is near all of the mattes had just been a freaking matte. Just 6 mattes in a row, 8 shimmers in a row, just would have looked better to me. Sure, some of these shimmers are really pretty. I'm looking at a couple right now that do look nice. The packaging to me just feels very old school makeup, very kind of like retro makeup. Like, it looks kind of pretty, but very old school in my opinion. Like, I wouldn't have been surprised if you told me, there's another palette I have in here that I think this about, but if you had told me this came out in like 2013, I wouldn't have been surprised because of the packaging. I feel like they should have really come out swinging with these releases, like take some risks. The brand is very obviously already not doing super, super well because of Kat Von D. So now that she's left, like, wouldn't now be the time to take some risks? And maybe I don't understand business, but if I had something that was kind of failing, it's like, well, it's going under. We might as well go under being interesting. Like, why didn't they make, like, I don't even know, but something just like a goth Christmas tree, like something really reminiscent of the old school style Kat Von D brand that people just absolutely loved. Okay, next, Milk Makeup came out with a Hydro Grip spray. So they have the Hydro Grip primer and now they're coming out with a setting spray. I am not like a full believer in setting sprays. I have the Morphe one and I love the Morphe one, which is really one of the only things from Morphe that I like really vibe with is that Morphe setting spray. But there's not a ton of other setting sprays I have that I'm like, yeah, this does something. I try them and I just never end up really liking them. However, I do really, really love the Milk Hydro Grip primer. It's super unique. I feel like you kind of either loved or hated that primer because it was so sticky. Like, your makeup did not move. It was basically like putting Elmer's glue all over your face. Your makeup doesn't move when you wear it, but it definitely is kind of a weird feeling. Fun fact, I actually left mine at Lacey, Spooky Lips and Fat Hips. I left mine at her house and it was there for months and I couldn't use it. But once I got it back, I've almost finished the bottle now because I actually really love it. So I'm kind of like about this spray. This is a time where I wish I could just go in store and like spray it and get a vibe for how it feels, but I can't really do that. Stores are open around here, but also you can't use the testers, so it's kind of like, what's the point? I don't know. I have mixed thoughts. I'm not sure if I'm gonna love this or hate this. I'm not sure if people are gonna love this or hate this in general. I'm really interested to see reviews and see what people think, but overall, I will say I like Milk. Time and time again, I like Milk makeup because I do feel like at least they're doing stuff that's kind of different. And I also like the fact that when they do have a product that hits really well, instead of other brands where they just kind of remake that same product over and over again, they make that same product with that same style, but they put a twist on it. So they knew the Hydro Grip primer did really well, so they made something similar, but it has that twist of that it's now a setting spray, so they pair together nicely. So I do appreciate Milk makeup for that. I would say arguably Milk is probably in like my top 10 favorite brands, really. They come out with cool stuff, which I can appreciate. Okay, Dior. Dior, and again, Christmas. I literally don't want to think about Christmas, but Dior announced their Christmas collection. To be fair, I do think that all of this stuff like looks kind of cute. Like, I do like the little snowflake embossing. I think that's very pretty. The quads look cohesive and Christmassy, especially that darker quad. That definitely screams like holiday party to me. I could see myself using that. The lipsticks with the snowflakes, like very cute, very cohesive. The thing about makeup, like Dior makeup, I feel like it's kind of like you're either one of those people that buys Dior makeup or you're not, and you're not gonna buy it because it's too damn expensive. I am one of those people that I'm probably not gonna buy any of this. If I were to buy any of this, it would be that blush, but realistically, I'd only be buying it because it has like a cute little snowflake embossing, not because I've heard amazing things about the Dior blush formula. I think it's kind of like with any sort of luxury goods, is they come out with these lines and people kind of collect them. So is it cute? Sure. Do I think you should buy it? No. Also, part of me wants to be like, snowflakes for Christmas. Groundbreaking. Okay, next. I also already bought this one. This is the Natasha Denona Glam palette. I will say I like the palette. I have to say though, I was slightly disappointed in getting it, and that's why I wanted to include it in here. It just doesn't look as good in person, in my opinion, and maybe other people have different opinions, but for me, like, the shades just don't look as sparkly. The mattes don't look as good. Everything looks a little bit more dull and muted than it looked in the pictures, which is a little bit disappointing, and also the shimmers don't perform as well as I wished. Basically, I bought this because it looked identical to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette. So similar. And I love that palette, but I am trying to phase out of using ABH on my channel. So I thought this could be a cool dupe for that palette. And also that palette's just getting old in general, and ABH palettes for some reason expire quicker than everything else. So I was kind of like, okay, this could be my little like supplement for that Sultry palette that I love so much. And it's just not. The shimmer shades are not as pow in your face amazing, and the mattes, while decent, are just not that great either. I feel like in these pictures it looks a lot more like cool toned browns, when in reality it's like cool toned grays, which I don't love. Yeah, sadly wasn't a huge fan of this so far. I'm gonna give it a few more tries, but just off first impressions, like this is a pass, I would have to say. I don't think I would recommend this. Okay, next we have Kylie Cosmetics Summer Sailor Collection. I have to wonder if COVID made this palette launch happen later, because to launch something this like red, white, and blue summertime in like late August is a little bit weird timing wise. We're all kind of over summer. I know this is like a sailor collection, but also like launching an America themed collection right now, pretty weird. I will say, I mean, the colors seem cute. Whenever you put like red, blue, and gold together, it looks very aesthetically pleasing. So the packaging does look pleasing. I will say I think the artwork on it is kind of cool. She's like, Kylie is like a pinup sailor. I still don't fully understand makeup creators who put themselves on their packaging, like put their pictures on their makeup. I don't fully understand that, but I will say at least it's like cool. Like at least it's, you know, at least it's cartoonized and kind of cool. Just kind of like what I said though. It's a weird time to be launching this so late in the summer. And while I think it's kind of pretty, knowing the Kylie Cosmetics eyeshadow palette formula like I do, I know that this is not necessarily the best formula, and I feel like you could probably get better shimmer shades for a similar price from different brands. For example, like if you wanted these crazy foiled pinks, reds, and blues and golds, like go to JD Glow. They have these amazing foiled galaxy shadows that are unreal, beautiful, and you could get 4 of them for the same price as this palette and they'll actually perform super well. Okay, this I actually am super interested in, but I know I don't really need it. This is the Glow Recipe Plum Plump Hyaluronic Serum. The main reason I don't want to get this is because it is so expensive. I know that hyaluronic acid seems to be really good for your skin based on the skincare channels that I've watched. They told me hyaluronic acid was good. So I bought this like hyaluronic acid serum from The Ordinary for like $7. To its credit, my skin looks fantastic since I started using that. So I don't really need this very expensive one in my brain. Like if I'm being honest, the only reason I really truly want this is because I know it's gonna smell amazing. I know people hate scents. I don't particularly care about scents. I know it's gonna smell very good. The bottle is so freaking cute. That's how Glow Recipe gets me every single time. It's because their packaging is so aesthetically cute and adorable. Their products always smell amazing. Their banana cream smelled so good. It smelled like banana candies. Like it smelled amazing. I feel like when it comes to skincare in particular though, it has to be almost more than that. You can't just buy something because it smells good or it looks cute. Like, there definitely has to be more of a reason behind you're buying when it comes to skincare stuff, because it goes on your face. You have to like really look at ingredients and like do your research. I feel like weirdly skincare has been coming out at a really weird rate. Like I feel like there's so much new skincare coming out pretty frequently, which is kind of surprising. I'm sure because people are going through skincare and they want to like buy new stuff maybe, but for me, like when I find products that work for me, I just keep using them. I used to definitely be a little bit more of a skipper around and I would like try new stuff all the time, but now that I have a set routine, like maybe I'll add stuff in if I finish something, but it takes me forever to finish something. It's kind of weird to me how quickly skincare is coming out with new products and coming out with new stuff. If any of you guys know more about skincare than I do, you might be able to provide some context on how the skincare market is doing so well, when it, to me, feels like once you find your products, you just stick with them. I saw this on Trendmood a couple weeks ago and could not stop myself from writing a sassy comment, which I really never write sassy comments on Trendmood because you all who comment on Trendmood do a good enough job for me roasting these palettes. However, I saw this palette and I said, you could have told me this is an old palette they released in 2014 and I would have believed you. And that is the Urban Decay Stoned Vibes mini palette. This palette literally looks like it was made in 2014. This is so weird that they put, there's no better way to put it. It's so weird. This whole stoned vibes collection from Urban Decay, I'll say it, it's tacky. It's weird, it's tacky. I know they're trying to be like, we're the cool brand, stoned vet. Like, no, you're no longer the cool brand. Melt Cosmetics has taken over for you. Nobody thinks you're the cool brand anymore. This looks so old and tacky and weird. Like, I don't understand it. From the color choices, which is the like pink and white and brown, which just feel like my middle school years. Like, this feels like 3 shades I would have put together in middle school because the pink and brown thing was super, super in. These glitters, like, actually, you know what's sad is those glitters probably have a decent formula, but I will never buy this palette because I'll never use it. There's no reason for me to ever use this. It's so random and weird. The mattes and the shimmers don't even go well together. If you're gonna make something small like a 6-pan, at least make sure all 6 of the shades work well together. I don't know, I'm just so thrown by Urban Decay. They used to just be so cool. I remember when they were like the cool brand and like so poppin' and so it, and now I cannot remember the last time I've seen one of their launches and been like, wow, I'm so interested in that. Never. Let's talk about the Niki Tutorials palette. I'm actually wearing this palette on my eyes right now. This is the problem if I don't do Yass or Pass like frequently enough, I end up buying the stuff. I saw this palette and I was actually instantly very intrigued. I know some people really, really hated the packaging and I totally get why it wouldn't be. I actually have it right here. I can show you. I used it today on my eyes because I just got it in the mail. I can understand why people would hate this packaging. Like, I can understand objectively why this isn't for everybody. Personally, I thought it was really cute. I thought it really did fit Niki's style and her personality, and I thought that was really cool. I also have to say I love the inside of the palette. I love the matte to shimmer ratio. I love the way the palette is laid out. It's so aesthetically pleasing to me. And the light to dark theme I think is really on brand and kind of cool. It's cool that, like, today I did more of the light side and I did kind of like a peachy pink look, but I could have mixed in some deeper tones to have more depth and make it more interesting, or I could just do a total look of just deeper tones or just lighter tones. And I think that's really cool. The shimmers that go along with this palette are gorgeous. The formula is like super, super interesting and cool on the shimmer shades, and I was actually pleasantly surprised by this. I know that she had a bit of a controversy when it came to her launch because I even was dealing with weird stuff where it would say it was sold out, but then like 5 minutes later it was like it's in stock, and then 10 minutes later be like, but now it's sold out, and then it was like, but now it's in stock. Like, I don't know why they did that sort of staggered in and out of stock thing. There had to have been a reason. So I know a couple people were a little bummed they couldn't actually get the palette. Seems like they're going to be working to restock, which I think is really nice. But overall, I think this palette's kind of cool. I will say I get why people wouldn't like it. Like, I understand. I personally think it's kind of cool, and I'm happy I bought it. If you guys want to see like a tutorial on this, let me know, because I bought it to do a tutorial with, so I'd be happy to do that. Okay, next. Sunday Riley. I just want to touch on this really quick. I don't know anything about like what this will do to your face. It's a firming resurfacing essence. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that's going to do to your face. I think the fact that Sunday Riley named a skincare product Pink Drink is absolutely genius. I think naming your skincare the Pink Drink is genius. That's so cute. That's such good marketing. They made it freaking pink. Like, I just had to applaud them on that. It's way too expensive and I'm never gonna buy this, but I just thought that was so smart. That's such a cute name. I'm shocked other Starbucks must have some type of copyright things or something, like, because I am shocked that more companies don't do like Starbucks inspired things or Dunkin' Donuts inspired things, because they're so relevant. The pumpkin spice cold brew, I've seen it all over Twitter because people are like obsessed with it from Starbucks. Like, why are we not getting pumpkin spice cold brew palettes? Why am I not getting a pumpkin spice toner? Like, why? I will also say I think it's interesting because I think this is Sunday Riley trying to appeal to a younger audience. People who buy Sunday Riley are probably a little bit older, and I only say that because they're probably have more money. Whereas like most of us don't have Sunday Riley money to just be like flippantly thrown around on skincare. So I will say I think it's probably people who are older and have more established bank accounts that are buying Sunday Riley. So I think this is probably an attempt to be a little bit more hip and trendy and get in with a bit of a younger crowd. But I think if they want to do that, they just have to lower their prices. So I wonder if this is cheaper. I don't see a price on here, but I wonder if this was cheaper. So Charlotte Tilbury came out with the Bejeweled Eyes to Hypnosis. It looks to me very similar to all of their other eyeshadow palettes. That's my thing about Charlotte Tilbury. I feel like their stuff is always very similar. I know people really, really love and rave about the Charlotte Tilbury formula, and I in no way mean to discount that because I've never tried the formula. I have no idea what it's like. I just, to me, don't feel like it's worth the price point that she sets it at for how kind of basic the shades look. Like, I feel like if I'm gonna spend that much on an eyeshadow palette, I do want it to look at least like it's going to be very interesting, or like the shimmers are going to be out of this world, super pigmented, like how I bought the Natasha Denona one. I bought that because I thought the shimmers were going to be like out of this world. Whereas this, to me, just even looking at it, I'm like, no, there's like a little trio of browns, a trio of pinks, a trio of purples, and a trio of darker browns. And while I think it's set up nicely, so it's very easy to use, I just am not super interested in this one. Also, this is their holiday palette, which I think is interesting. I really go back and forth on if I think holiday palettes should be holiday themed or not. Because I definitely mock some holiday themed palettes because some of them, like Too Faced whole collections, they're always so bad. But I think there's other brands that just knock it out of the park with the holiday themes. Like Linda Halberg Cosmetics comes out with those holiday quads that are in those really super sparkly, hyper pigmented shades, and I think those are so well done. Like, that's a holiday palette done well. So I feel like there's a way to do holiday and still make it really elegant and not super like gimmicky and, you know, whatever, where I feel like Charlotte Tilbury could create something like that, but she just didn't this year. The more I look at it, the more I like it. I just don't think it's worth the money, but I get why people like these. Finally, Huda Beauty came out with the Haze collection. To Huda's credit, so we have Sand Haze, Purple Haze, and Khaki Haze. I mean, these are very on brand for her brand. Her brand is very like desert and, you know, whatever. I think these are very on brand for that based on all of her other palettes and stuff like that. Personally, I typically like her bigger palettes better than the smaller ones. I've tried a bunch of the smaller ones, and while I think they're okay, I never like the formula as much as I do in her big palettes. So personally, I know that she comes out with a big palette every Christmas, so I'm obviously going to wait for the big palette to see if I like it this year before even thinking about these smaller ones. But I will say, I think besides the purple one, which really looks very similar to one she's already done, I think that the Sand Haze and the Khaki Haze actually have really interesting color stories, particularly the Khaki Haze. I think this kind of grungy greens and grungy browns with this gold shimmer, I think is really cool. You could make some really fun, grungy sort of looks that I think are kind of cool. And even Sand Haze, I think, looks a little interesting. I probably, if I had been designing this, would not have gone with three very, very light shades, just because I do feel it washes out the palette a little bit. I would have maybe done like a little bit of a deeper brown instead of that middle shade. I think it would have made it, first of all, a little bit more versatile for people with different skin tones, and I also think it just would have given the palette a little bit more depth. I think when you're working with palettes that are this small, you really do need to be very careful about the shades you put in. For me, having one off shade can kind of make or break a palette of if I'm gonna buy it or not for me when it comes to these small shadows. I think that khaki one is by far the best. I think that one looks really, really cool. The purple one, she's made stuff like that before, but the khaki one looks cool. And the haze one, I like it, but I think it could have been better. That's my general overview of those. So that is my opinion on new makeup. I hope you guys liked this video. I hope it was at least a little bit interesting for you to watch. If you did, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, my social media, and everything I'm wearing on my face will be linked down below, along with my podcast. I have a podcast with my fiance. We're almost at 7,000 subscribers, and we're really loving it. So if you want to check that out, you can. And along with all of that will be a link to register to vote. That's right. You can click on that link. You can register to vote, and you can be part of your democracy. Super fun thing to do. Along with that will also be my little list of social justice thingies. Please go check those out. Donate, sign petitions, do whatever you can, stay informed. And yeah, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!